So this dish is called my 5-spice chicken stir fry. 5-spice is a really beautiful aromatic blend of spices, and it's gonna give the basis of flavor to our stir fry here. So I've got some chicken thighs. I'm using chicken thighs because I find that they're much more forgiving when you cook them. Breast is really lean, but I find it dries out really easily. So I've just got 2 thighs that I've diced up here. I'm gonna do maybe 1.5 teaspoons or so of that Chinese 5-spice. And meanwhile, I've got a wok here getting nice and hot. Just gonna toss that around just to coat it. Beautiful. All right, so that's ready to go. A little bit of oil into our nice hot wok, because I really want to hear that sizzle when I throw the chicken in. I don't want it to sort of sweat and be stewing in its own juices. I really want to get a nice golden caramelization on the outside of that chicken. So just a little bit of oil to start off. You don't need too much because the chicken thighs have got a little bit of fat in itself. Just enough so it's not going to start burning, it's going to caramelize evenly. All right, let's chuck a piece in. That's a nice sizzle, that's a nice sizzle. Could probably allow it to get a little bit hotter though. I just really want to get a nice loud sizzle when I chuck all this in. Just going to leave it for a few more seconds. So I'm going to fry the chicken first. I'm going to get it to the point where it's just cooked and then take it out of the wok and put it back in right at the end. And the reason I'm going to do that is because if I just leave the chicken in there the whole time, it's going to get to the point where it's cooked. And then I'm going to start adding everything else and the chicken's going to keep cooking and it's going to start to dry out. And I really want some nice tender, juicy chicken. So I'm going to cook it to the point it's just cooked, then take it out, add it back in at the end. All right, let's add all this in. Excellent, so that was just 2 thighs, 1.5 teaspoons of 5-spice, straight into a nice hot wok. Right, I'm just going to quickly wash my hands just because I've got chicken on my hands. I don't want to give anyone food poisoning, so it's probably a handy tip. All right, so I've got some really beautiful spring onions here. And I almost see spring onions as 2 vegetables really. You've got this kind of white and light green section, which is quite sort of oniony and sharp in flavor. And then you've got this sort of hollow, darker green section, which is a little bit more bitter and almost treated to me like a separate vegetable. So I'm gonna cut this first bit into little battens, chuck that into our stir fry, and I'm gonna thinly slice these darker green bits on an angle and use them to garnish the dish. So just gonna take these roots off, chuck them over there. Just cut them into a couple of battens, maybe sort of about 1 inch or so. Excellent. So that's gonna be part of my stir fry, maybe one more. Excellent. And I'm gonna use these bits later on, sliced up nice and finely to garnish the dish. How's our chicken looking here? Beautiful. Right, so I've just sliced the spring onion into battens. I'm just gonna put that here for the time being. And that's gonna go into our stir fry as is in a little while. And then right at the end, some of these spring onion ends, just gonna hold them on to, get them onto an angle on my board, chop them nice and finely. That one's not so fine. And some of these beautiful little shapes that you get, that's gonna be really nice over the top of our stir fry. Just something really fresh, something really crunchy and vibrant. A few more. Cool, that's enough. I just want enough so it's an extra little texture, extra little crunch and something really fresh. Cool, so. Right, so we're just getting a beautiful golden brown color on that chicken there. And you can really now smell those spices. That sort of that star anise, that cinnamon that's really coming out of that 5-spice now, it's really apparent. Excellent. Just want to turn it over just so all those sides are covered, just so they get that beautiful even coverage. So this way I'm getting maximum, because I started in a nice hot wok, I'm getting maximum sort of caramelization around the outside of the chicken, but still maintaining that really juicy tenderness on the inside. Excellent. Just toss it around a little bit. Cool. Right, so once I've taken my chicken out, the next thing I'm gonna do is keep building on those flavors. So we've already got a little bit of flavor in the wok and the chicken from that 5-spice. The next things I'm gonna add in, a couple of cloves of garlic that I've just sliced up, some chili, some really fragrant ginger, and some coriander stem. And that's really gonna give my stir fry a beautiful flavor base because the oil that I'm frying that in is gonna develop those flavors, it's gonna take on those flavors. So when I'm tossing the vegetables and the chicken in it, it's gonna take on all that flavor of those vegetables. So really beautiful stuff. Excellent. I tell you what, I think we're done. So chicken's gonna come straight off now, just onto this plate. Straight back onto the heat. Just a little bit more oil now. I've been fairly generous with the oil just because when I'm adding the ingredients like this garlic, just a chili that I've de-seeded and sliced up, the ginger, and these coriander roots, if I don't have enough oil, it's just gonna start burning straight away. And so what's happening here, that sort of tablespoon or two of oil I've put in, is gonna be flavored with these really beautiful flavors that we're developing into the wok here. Really great stuff. I think you have to think when you're cooking something like a stir fry, you have to think where your flavor's coming from. And so we've got a lot of flavor from the 5-spice and the chicken, and this is where our flavor's coming from as well. We're then gonna get some really beautiful, crispy, crunchy vegetables, and that's gonna tie the whole thing together. So these spring onion battens that I've cut, they're gonna go in now because they're gonna take a little while to cook. Just keeping an eye on it, just making sure it's not burning, cooking nice and evenly. How colorful is that as well? It looks great. Right. So I've got some pak choy here. And obviously if you look at something like this, there's this really dark, thin, leafy bit, and then this kind of lighter green, much thicker component to the vegetable. And that's gonna cook in 2 different times. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna chop this kind of thicker part, just get those ends off. Chop the thicker part just into a couple of pieces. I'm gonna chuck this stuff in right at the end because that's gonna cook really quickly. I'm gonna put this stuff in now. Cool, that's looking fantastic. Chili's vibrant red, everything else is nice and green. It's looking great. It smells really good too. Cool, so I'm just gonna reserve them for the end. The other thing I've got here is just some snow peas as well. Now I like to leave them whole. You can chop them up if you like, but it's just important that you, just before you throw them in, there's a little bit at the top here. Just kind of bend it back, peel that stringy bit off, and you can chuck it straight in. Just a few of these. Just get that nice stringy bit off. Cool. Right, now if I keep frying this for too much longer, those vegetables are gonna start to burn. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a little bit of liquid, and that's gonna steam up. So the vegetables are sort of frying and steaming at the same time. So you could use just water if you wanted to. You could use chicken stock, or you could use maybe something like a wine or a rice wine or something like that. I've got a little bit of chicken stock here because it's gonna give it a really beautiful flavor. So nice hot wok. Just kind of gonna deglaze with it, so I'm just gonna pour it around the outside just to bring all those flavors in, start steaming it around the vegetables. Beautiful. So you can see all this steam coming up now. That's gonna help cook our vegetables. So to serve with our stir fry as well, I've just got some noodles here, and these literally take 2 or 3 minutes to cook. So I've just got a little pot of boiling water here. And these are just gonna go straight into that. And by the time our stir fry's done, they're gonna be ready. So I'm just gonna add a tablespoon or 2 of oyster sauce, which it's quite sweet and salty. So it kind of depends on your own personal palate. I like it quite sweet, so you can add a fair bit of that if you like. Maybe half a tablespoon or a tablespoon of soy sauce as well. Excellent, straight in. So just toss all those flavors around. Now, these veggies are almost done, to be honest. I like them really crisp and crunchy. I don't want to cook them to the point they're starting to lose that vibrant green color. I really want that texture from them as well. So, what am I gonna do next? I reckon at this point, my sauce, I'm pretty happy with that sauce. I'm gonna chuck the chicken back in. All these juices are gold as well. That's just stuff that's come out of the chicken. I want all that in there as well. It's all flavor. Now, as well, just this from the pak choy. I might just chop it once, just so it's a little bit more manageable. But this probably looks like I'm adding quite a lot, but it's actually a very small amount because much like spinach or any other greens like this, it's gonna really wilt down and become nothing at all. So although it's kind of taking up a lot of my wok at the moment, as soon as I start stirring, within a minute or two, this is gonna be great. This is gonna wilt right down. Still looking really colorful, and I know it's gonna taste great too. Right, so these noodles have been in for a couple of minutes now, and my stir fry is pretty much there. So I'm just gonna take these out. I reckon I'm just gonna put them straight into the bowl. You can also just chuck these into the wok, stir fry them just with that sauce as well, but I think the sauce is just gonna coat these nicely anyway, so I reckon this is gonna be fine as it is. Beautiful. That one can be yours. I'll give one for me as well. Nice one. It doesn't really matter I got a little bit of water in that because this sauce is reduced right down. It's getting nice and thick, so that's not gonna matter anyway. I'm gonna get all that beautiful sauce all over these noodles. Right, so I've got my nice thick sauce that's reduced down, that stock, the oyster sauce and the soy sauce. I reckon I'm just gonna chuck that straight on top of these noodles. Look at that. Beautiful, flavoursome chicken. Nice crunchy vegetables, still holding their texture. Nice and green. And of course that beautiful sauce as well. Just one more here. Cool. And I reckon just to serve, I've just got a few little fried shallots here. That's just gonna give us a really beautiful crunchy texture over the top. Just a few of them. And just to finish, just those spring onions that we sliced up earlier, just to give it a really nice freshness, just to add something that's not cooked is really nice. It's gonna give that kind of lightness and crunchiness that we're after. A few of those over the top. I reckon that's beautiful. I'm gonna tuck into that. It's really nice. You really get the subtleness of that five spice coming through, but then it's got a really sort of thick and sticky sauce created from the stock and the oyster and the soy sauces. But then I think what's really good is that these vegetables, they've soaked up all that sauce, but they've still got their bright color, still got the nice crunchy texture. Give it a try, it's really easy. If you want more recipes and inspiration like this, check out howtoherbs.com.